Broncos country, I know that there is a sector of you that are very upset right now that the Denver Broncos opted not to make any moves at the trade deadline. We did see them yesterday trade Baron Browning to the Arizona Cardinals for a 6th-round pick, but the Broncos ultimately elected not to make any additions to their roster. Sean Payton hinted at that yesterday when he said that Superman wasn't walking through the door, but I know that there were some of you out there that were still holding on to a glimmer of hope that the Broncos might make an addition. But there is some good news because the Broncos do have several players who are returning from injury who could provide some reinforcements to this roster. But before we talk about that, guys, I want to thank the affiliate partner for today's video, Green Gridiron Helmets. Use code DENSYN, DENSYN, link in the description below to save off your first purchase on authentic NFL replica helmets just like that one. Again, that is code DENSYN, link in the description down below. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. I want to bring in this tweet that Mike Klis sent out 12 minutes before the trade deadline. Although the Broncos did not make any moves, consolation is that they could return PJ Locke from his thumb injury, Josh Reynolds from his finger injury and his traumatic event that he went through, and Luke Wattenberg from his ankle injury this week. Those guys could all be in line to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. Drew Sanders is also close to returning from his torn Achilles that he suffered this past offseason. Mike Klis hinted in a video that 9 News put out the other day that the Broncos view him as an outside linebacker, edge rusher, as opposed to an off-ball inside linebacker. Josh Reynolds, Klis noted, was about to be ready to return from his finger injury, but then he had the traumatic event that he went through. So I'm willing to let Reynolds take as much time as he needs, but it seems like from a mental perspective, he is ready to get back on the field, which is very good news. Luke Wattenberg is going to provide some reinforcement on your offensive line. I think that Alex Forsyth's performance in the game against the Baltimore Ravens was subpar, and it opened the avenue for Luke Wattenberg to return and take his starting job back. I ultimately think that Luke Wattenberg does give the Broncos offensive line a lower floor, and that's why the Broncos were more comfortable going into the season with him as the starter. And then PJ Locke, he's been out with his thumb fracture since fracturing it in practice a couple of weeks ago. So the Broncos could be in line to see him return this week. That will give the Broncos some much needed reinforcements on defense. Devon Key was awful in the game against the Ravens. So PJ Locke returning is definitely going to be a welcome addition for this Denver Broncos defense. Overall, I know that there are people out there that are disappointed that the Broncos didn't make any moves, but Josh Reynolds coming back is going to improve the Broncos receiving core. The Broncos not having Reynolds out there, as my camera is out of focus, we're going to go back to the other screen. The Broncos not having Reynolds out there for the last few weeks has definitely shown in the production from the receiving core. Little Jordan Humphrey is going to see a diminished role because Josh Reynolds is set to return. He's no longer going to be your wide receiver too, so that's definitely going to give the Broncos a higher ceiling in terms of their receiving core, as well as a lower floor, quite frankly. The wide receiving core for the Broncos has just really taken a significant hit ever since Josh Reynolds has been gone, so I know Denver's going to be really happy to have him back. Same for Luke Wattenberg. Forsyth had a couple of really nice games, but in that game against Baltimore, he really struggled out there. So Luke Wattenberg is definitely in line to reclaim his starting job. And then Drew Sanders coming back gives the Broncos even more depth on the edge. And it also gives you some insight as to why the Broncos were so comfortable trading Baron Browning. That was one of many reasons why the Broncos ultimately elected to move Browning. Overall, I think the Broncos are comfortable with their roster. They made that clear with the moves that they made. Let's see if my camera is back. No, it is not. But still, I know there are some of you in Broncos country that are disappointed. All right, Broncos country, let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the Broncos getting PJ Locke, Josh Reynolds, and Luke Wattenberg back? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country, just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.